Hi there, Sherry Schreiber of GettingBetter.com with another naked truth, at least my truth today. And this is going to piss some of you off, and you're going to hate me for it, this video. And some of you are going to love me for this video because it's going to help you take yourself down off the cross, let yourself up off the mat, quit torturing yourself forever after a crisis, no matter whose fault it was. Years ago, and I'm not, years ago, and I'm not sure when exactly this got started. I'm guessing in the 60s. This tendency to want to take responsibility for every single event that happens to you in your life. Take responsibility for it. Hold yourself accountable for it. Well, you know, in theory, there's nothing wrong with that, really. I mean, that's not in and of itself a bad thing. And in fact, I advocate for that so that you can not just stay in a bubble of denial and continue to keep making the same mistakes that are hurtful to you and others over and over and over and over again. But here's the deal. This owning your part in a crisis, an upset, a relationship breakup, people carry it way friggin' too far. I mean, way too far. I mean, it's absurd the degree to which people carry this based on this self-responsibility generation that's come up years ago. And the self-responsibility generation is, well, you know, listen, if you're pointing the finger at somebody else, remember there's 3 pointing back at you. If somebody's wronged you, hurt you, decimated you emotionally, how can you hold yourself at fault for having gotten involved with that person in the first place, for having stayed too long at the fair, way past the shelf life of the relationship, whatever? How can you hold yourself to blame for that happening to you? So what this has done is it's left us basically turning into an unempathic society. You say to a friend, oh, I've been so hurt by this fella I was dating or this gal I was dating. I've been just so crushed. I mean, it's just so wounding to me. It just hurts so bad that they just up and left. You know, I loved them as best I could, and I loved them, I thought, pretty well, and they've just deserted me, just abandoned the relationship, just walked away. Well, okay, but what is it in you that made you choose that relationship? Now, I've done this. I'm guilty of having done this with clients, okay? Especially if there's a pattern of choice. And over again, they're choosing personality disordered partners. I want to help them see it's the insecurity in you that's craving that kind of attention in the beginning, because you never got it when you should have gotten it, and when it was age appropriate to get it as an infant and throughout your entire childhood from your parental units, particularly your mommy. So I'm guilty of having done this crap with people, and I don't think that's going to change because I'm here to wake people up and shake them up and get them to recognize the truth about their patterns that are destructive to them. But when a friend says, well, how did you contribute to that? pain you're in right now. It's not an empathic response. I had a young friend do this with me once upon a time, years ago. I was complaining, bitching, moaning about something that happened in a relationship of mine, and he turned to me and he said, well, how do you think you contributed to this upset you're in right now, or that particular speed bump in the relationship? This wasn't useful to me and immediately inflamed me. It pissed me the fuck off. And I said, you know what? I've shared this with you as a friend. I've shared this with you because I've trusted that you're my friend, and that you will be nurturing and supportive of me and my pain that I'm in as I'm relating this experience to you. I don't need you to teach me a lesson here. Pissed me off. Especially me being in the profession I've been in for years, and he having just fallen off the turnip truck developmentally. So if you're in this puddle and you're drowning half to death, what did you do to cause it? This is the self-responsibility generation. Unfortunately, it's a trend that has lasted way too long. I mean, people are still doing this shit to themselves. I hear it all the time. At least during the course of my working career, I heard it constantly. People wanting to put the blame on themselves. Or shift if they can't have any compassion or sensitivity or sympathy for themselves, they want to shift it to their parent. Well, my mother had a really tough childhood, and that's why she's failed me as a mom. Or this boyfriend or girlfriend of mine has had it really tough, and that's why they're acting out with me and causing me excruciating pain and torment, and I got to make room for them, cut them slack. It's a double standard. It's a dangerous one. Because if you're always cutting somebody else slack and never cutting yourself slack, if you're always giving the benefit of the doubt to somebody else but never you, how does that make sense? If you're going to always hold yourself accountable and to blame for any difficult, negative event that occurs in your life, doesn't it make sense that you should be willing to hold the other guy to blame too? At times, at least. Why does it always fall on you? Stupid. Dumb. Buddhism pisses me off because they're so preoccupied with karmic retribution. Oh, I must have done something really bad in a past life to have brought this plight, this blight, this struggle upon myself. I must have done something really bad in a past life, or 2 or 3 or 10, to have had to live with this much pain in this lifetime. So every time I encounter pain, I can't feel sorry for myself. I can't give myself sympathy and compassion, which is, by the way, the root of and foundation for you growing empathy for others. You cannot have empathy for others until you learn how to have sympathy and compassion for your pain. And most of you don't. What did I do in a past life to deserve this? Oh, I must have done something wrong. I must have done something bad. I must have been a terrible person. In a past life, and this is my payback. I just have to take it lying down. This is my payback. This is my karmic retribution. That's just horseshit. It really is. I think we choose the parents we choose. I think we choose the family we choose that forces us to grow the most. The opportunity for growth and change and expansion and evolution is there. And maybe we need those struggles along the way to force that growth in us. Maybe we need that disastrous, painful relationship to force us to wake up and grow and start healing with the help of a competent professional. But my dears, this karmic thing, karmic retribution thing, people carry it way, way, way too far. Self-responsibility. So what this has us doing is never ever putting the blame on somebody else for having caused us pain, for having caused us injury. That's just stupid. That's as dumb as you can get. As you go through life, people will cause you pain. They will disappoint you. They will hurt you. They will undermine you. And a lot of times when they undermine you, it's intentional. Because they have no character. They have no empathy. They have no character. They're personality disordered. Their survival, their agenda is the only thing that matters to them. Your survival matters not to them. They're unconcerned with it. As far as they're concerned, it's fuck you. Every man for himself. And I'm sure we've all known a few people like that. So how can we truly heal from a disastrous relationship experience? How can we truly, truly heal? Well, we can't if we keep shifting the blame back onto us. What did I do wrong in that relationship to have brought about this outcome? Maybe I was just undereducated in terms of life experience, and I chose this relationship because I didn't know better. I just didn't know better. I've always been saying throughout, I don't know how many decades it's been in my practice and in my personal life, you can't know what you don't know yet. You can't. We all make mistakes. Look back on our 20s, our 30s. We've all made mistakes. We've all done things we're a little ashamed of. We've all made errors. To err is human. Remember that one? Robots don't err. Humans err. We want you to be a human. So we've all made mistakes. I make mistakes on a continual basis. I screw up, and trust me, folks, when I screw up, they're really big screw-ups. They're really big screw-ups. And it's happened when I'm working with clients. Catch myself getting a little activated, come across more reactive than responsive than I'd like to. I will call that person and make amends, sincere apology, and hope that they can forgive me, and hope that it deepens the trust that they have for me, because I'm human. I can fuck up. I can screw up. I can make mistakes. And on a subliminal kind of level, it enables that client then to realize, well, this person I'm paying large sums of money to can screw up, and own those screw-ups and call me and make sincere amends for those screw-ups. Maybe it's okay for me occasionally to screw up too. Maybe I don't have to be so perfect after all, like my parents commanded and expected me to be as a child. Yeah, I'm narcissistic, but I can still own my shit. I can still own my mistakes. It's okay. I'm human. I'm allowed to screw up. Am I happy about it? No. Do I hold myself accountable for those screw-ups? Absolutely. Because if I didn't, I'd stay in denial about them. I'd never call and make those apologies. So how do we heal after a major setback. We trip, we fall. Do we curse ourselves for having incurred those injuries? Do we send hatred to those injuries and curse ourselves and beat ourselves up for hurting? No, that's stupid. I kiss the parts I can reach and just say, oh, I'm so sorry this happened. Forgive me. I'm so sorry this happened. I kiss them. I touch them tenderly. I bring comfort to those areas. I give them love and affection. Not ridicule and shame because I've hurt myself. Okay, well, how we do anything is how we do everything. So how you treat yourself on all manner of things is how you treat yourself throughout your lifetime. Are you kind to yourself? Are you nurturing? Are you sympathetic to yourself when you're hurting? Or are you mean to yourself? Do you say to yourself, snap out of it? Just get over it already. Well, likely you do. That's bad. That's wrong. Can't heal that way. Can't grow. So if we don't allow ourselves to go through the natural, normal stages of healing after a painful relationship breakup or a toxic relationship ends, and we're obsessing about all the things we could have done differently or better in that relationship to have not allowed this unfortunate outcome that we're struggling with now and in pain about, we'll never heal from it. We'll keep longing and yearning for that person lifelong, really, for the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years. You'll still long and yearning for that person and crave them. This will never be done for you. You will never be able to step away and apart from your attachment to that person. Why? Because you're blaming yourself for it. You're blaming yourself, your poor little self that didn't actually know better than to choose a person like that at the time. Well, maybe now you have a wake-up call. Maybe now you're learning about borderline personality disorder or narcissism. Maybe now you're expanding your intellectual repertoire. That's a good thing. So, never, ever, ever, during your attempt to heal from a painful relationship, never, ever, ever, ever jump the tracks and put the blame back on you. Blame that person. Get angry at that person. You have to go through this phase of your healing. You have to, in order to get through it and get to the other side of it. You have to allow yourself to be angry at that person. You have to allow yourself to think of terrible things you want to have happen to that person. Doesn't mean you're going to act on them. Doesn't mean you're going to draw pentagrams on your wood floors and light candles and do ceremonies about bringing harm to them in a witchcraft kind of way. It just means that in your mind's eye, if you want them to get their comeuppance, if you want them to taste their own medicine one day, even just that, it's okay. That's part of your healing. Anger and rage are a part of grief. Sometimes we lose a beloved friend, a pet, someone close to us, and we're angry at God for a while. It's just part of the territory. It's okay. God understands that. It's part of your grief process. So if you don't allow yourself to go through this part of your grief process, getting good and angry at that person, wishing great harm to them, if the good little boy or girl in you is going, oh, no, I couldn't do that. Oh, no, that's ego dystonic. That's outside the realm of how I need to see myself as a good person. You're never going to get over that person. Never. You're never going to heal. Never going to happen for you. Sorry to say. You can't get to forgiveness until you get to and go through anger and rage. You can't. All these people say, oh, you got to forgive. You got to forgive and move on. No, you do not have to forgive to move on. If you haven't allowed yourself, because you have great judgment on your rage and your anger, if you do not allow yourself to go through that phase of your healing journey from this experience, what is there to forgive in the final analysis? Isn't your anger, isn't your rage, aren't these responses to the deep pain somebody has inflicted in you, my dears? Of course it is. Underneath rage is always hurt. Always. If you're out with a buddy and they crowd a place and that buddy accidentally takes a step back and they mash your toe and it hurts like hell, your first impulse is to smack them, is to punch them. You're immediately angry because that hurt, that wound, is what makes you want to wound back. This is human nature. This is natural to us. It's natural to animals too. Wounded animal, I don't care how long that animal's been your beloved pet. If it's severely injured, it's going to growl at you and snap if you try and get near it, even if it's just to help it. It's natural. It's instinctive. So, when is it okay to own our part in a relationship disaster? Only after you've healed. Only after you've healed. Watch my mouth. It is only okay for you to own your part in a relationship disaster or crisis. Only after you've healed, not while you're healing. Not while you're healing. Because the minute you start to feel angry toward that person for having treated you so abominably, you jump the tracks and redirect that anger back on you. Oh, but, I made that choice. Oh, well, I chose to stay too long at the fair. Oh, well, I should have known better. After all, I'm a psychologist, I'm a psychotherapist. I've read something about borderline personality disorder. I should have known better. I'm wiser than this. I'm smarter than this. No, not emotionally, you aren't. All the reading in the world isn't going to make you emotionally intelligent. That takes a very specific kind of work, growth work, emotional development work. So only in hindsight are you allowed to take some accountability after you have healed, after you've directed your rage at that person, not physically, of course. You're not going to act out and go hurt them. But after you've healed, you've literally healed, that person doesn't hold a charge for you anymore. You've gotten to a place kind of indifference about them. Weather's so damn dry. My hair's been so flat. My hair is my barometer for how much humidity there is in the world, or at least in my locale. In hindsight, when you have some logical, practical perspective, when you're out of the pain, and you can look back and you can say, okay, I didn't know about that disorder back then. I had no template for a healthy relationship experience because look at who raised me. Fuck. I had no template for what real love felt like. So I chose this person who seemed to love me at the very beginning. I didn't know better. I really didn't. They really seemed like they loved me in the beginning. Like 2 weeks into the relationship, they're saying, I love you. I never want to be without you. And there's a part of you that falls for that because for the first time in your life, maybe, you're starting to allow yourself to feel maybe lovable to somebody. You've never felt lovable to somebody or good enough. Blame your mother for that. So in hindsight, what I've done is I've said, how did dancing with that person for a while serve me? What did I gain from it? What did I learn from it? Gosh, I can think of one of my relationships that literally gave me so much fodder for some of my online articles. I mean, like several of them. My bipolar piece, a little bit of my borderline male piece, my ADD piece, my addiction piece. Oh my God! Gave me so much fodder. And real concrete, tangible understanding of these issues because I'd had that experience with that male. And I loved him deeply and completely. And it was devastating when he dropped me on my head. Devastating. This is back in my late 40s. It's about 20 years ago now. It took me 3 years to get over a 3.5-year relationship. Really get past it. Moved past it completely. But I went through all the stages of grief. Every single one of them. Including anger and rage. So only in hindsight do you even consider your accountability in terms of having gotten involved with that person. Only in hindsight, after you have healed, after you've maybe worked with somebody therapeutically to help you grow yourself and form a healthy, nourishing, friendly attachment bond to you. So you don't keep choosing that kind of relationship experience ever again. Because you won't once you get well. Only in hindsight, which is, by the way, 2020, can you logically assess your part in that. And it's not like you beat yourself up for it for the rest of your years on the planet. It's that you go, okay, I see how that served me. Some of my clients that I've worked with have said to me, Sherry, I would have never gotten to a place of wanting to do this healing on me for all these long-standing issues had that person not turned my world upside down and inside out. I would never have met you. I would have never gotten to you. I would have never let you kick me in the head when I was steering myself wrong and getting off track and doing things that were self-injurious to me. I would never have found you. I would never have done internet research to find out why I was so confused and tormented in this relationship. So it served you to get you here. Many people have said this to me. Many people have said this to me. Had it not been for that relationship that just eviscerated me, just cut me down the center of my torso and ripped my guts and inner organs out of my body. Had it not been for that excruciating pain that relationship put me in, I would never have even considered doing this growth and healing work with you. Learning self-worth building tools. Learning how to connect to all my emotions without judgment, without fear, without analyzing the shit out of them. I would never have done this work on myself. Thank you. And I said, yeah, one day you might want to send. You won't, of course, but you'll think about sending a thank you note to that person. because this was your wake-up call to mend the places in you that have needed mending since you were a toddler. So quit pointing those 3 fingers back at you, my dears. Get out of the self-responsibility horse shit. It does you no good whatsoever. Take a look at my video, Quit Being Hard on You. That was one of the first videos I posted. At least 80% of the world's depression is directly due to people being hard on themselves. Driving themselves like slaves. Stupid, ridiculous, dysfunctional, bad habits. Break those habits. Learn how to be your own best friend. I have a video on that too. God bless you. Take yourself down off the cross for these occurrences in your life. Allow yourself to go through your grieving process. Feel sorry for yourself. Feel sad for the little boy or girl in you that's still hurting. Give yourself some sympathy and compassion for your pain. Stay out of your friggin' head. Toddlers, sometimes you'll see toddlers that wrap their arms around their center and they just rock back and forth. This is a self-soothing technique. You can do this for yourself. Just rock back and forth. Give yourself a hug around your center, around your middle, and rock back and forth. This is how toddlers self-soothe. Or you can use my breathing techniques, deep breathing and staying out of the head and rubbing where it hurts in your body. But find somebody to help you do that, help you heal from this. I'm not doing this work anymore. Got to the end of my rope with that. Really just didn't want to do it anymore. But I'm hoping you find somebody to help you do it and repair yourself and the little boy or girl inside. And bye for now.